video is about how to set bank rules in your bank reconciliation screen to make it much quicker and easier to reconcile your bank account. So first of all, I would recommend that you only do this where you're not looking for there to be paperwork that you would be matching the transaction with. So you're not looking, as you would for other items, to find a match with a bill, a receipt, or a sales invoice. So this would typically be transactions perhaps like bank interest, bank charges, PDQ fees. It could be salary payments to staff, where you can set up a bank rule, set it exactly how you want it to transact, and then all you've got to do in the screen is to click OK. It means that you can be much more confident when you're reconciling that the transactions are ready and they're going to be consistent, and all you're going to need to do is click that OK button as you see them on the bank reconciliation screen. So I'm going to show you an example as to how to set one up. So as you can see, I'm in the demo at the moment. So I'm going to just take, as an example, I'm going to take this item here, which is a bank fee, which is a typical example of where you might set up a bank rule. Now, as you can see at the moment, Xero is already auto-suggesting, so I could just click OK. However, the advantage of having a bank rule is that rather than Xero making its decision as to, or guess as to what it thinks the transaction should be, if you set a bank rule, you are clearly defining what you expect it to do and how you want the transaction carried out. So the easiest way to do this is to do this as you go along. So if I was doing a reconciliation and I came across this item and thought, well, actually this is always going to be the same. This is going to happen every month. There's going to be a bank fee. I can set up a bank rule, and then next time it will just create and I won't have to do anything. So to create the bank rule, click on Options, a little drop down there, and select Bank Rule. So the first thing I would do is in the first section, this is where you are telling Xero what information you want it to recognise from the bank statement. So when you set this, you need to be not too specific, otherwise you'll find that the bank rule won't actually pick it up. So sometimes you get on a description on a bank statement, you might have a description, they have lots of numbers afterwards. So I would make sure that the numbers aren't there, because if they're going to be different next time, it won't pick it up. So this bit here is probably the most important, and getting this bit right will mean that your bank your bank rule should work first time. So the first thing I would do is I would only have one line, one condition. I would change the payee field to say any text field, and I would change equals to contains, and I would leave that as it is, Ridgeway Banking Corporation. So this is the wording on the statement that you want it to recognise. In the next section, you're putting the name of the contact that you would want to put. So I would probably put here Ridgeway Bank, and you can see there's already a contact there, so I can just select that there. I would normally ignore section 3, and I would then go to section 4. So what description would I want on the transaction? So I will probably just put bank fee. I can select the account code that I want it always to select for me, and there's one there for bank fees. There's no VAT on that. If there was a tracking category, you may well select that too. In this case, there isn't. In section 5, you can either leave it as it is and say the reference will be set by me during the bank rec, or you can select one of the others. I normally leave it like that. And on section 6, this is saying which bank account the rule will run on. So if you've got a number of accounts, so say for example you've got 3 or 4 accounts with the same bank, so they'll be using the same sorts of descriptions on their bank statements, it might be worth changing that to say all bank accounts, and then the bank rule will work on all of them. And section 7, this is where you just put a title to say what the bank rule is that you're setting up. So if you want to go back into it and amend it, you can do, and it's easy to find. So once you're happy with all that, you can save it. And this will now take me back into the reconciliation screen. And as you can see there now, the bank rule has been created. So this is what a bank rule looks like. If, for example, it doesn't pick this up correctly and this created something when it shouldn't, maybe because I've not set the bank rule quite correctly. You can always ignore a bank rule and say don't apply the rule, but in normal circumstances I'm going to be happy with this. So every time this transaction crops up every month on the bank statement, it's going to create this rule, and all I've got to do is click OK. One final thing, if I wanted to go back in and to look at all of the bank rules that I've created, I go to Manage Account, I can go to Bank Rules, and here I can see a list of any bank rules that are set up. And I can go into them and I can edit them. I can delete them if I need to do that. So there's lots of flexibility there. As you can see, you've got spend money rules, receive money rules. So depending on what the transaction is that you're actually using to create that bank rule, it will decide if it's a spend money or if it's a receive money, so you don't have to tell it. The other type of rule is where you're transferring between one bank account and another bank account. So again, you can very easily set up a bank rule for that too.